Bond versus the Central American Drug Cartel. Who will win? Spoilers, it's Bond, but that's a no-brainer. For the first time in the series, we have a wholly original film that does not rely on the novels. No title reference, no villains, no nothing, nada. Should I go, or...? Nah, stick around for a bit. I'll need some counterpoints. Anyways, this 16th entry of the franchise, the final one from John Glenn, released in 1989, finds Bond pitted against the head of a major Central American drug cartel. Why? Well, Bond and the newly married Felix Leiter capture this guy Sanchez in the pre-credit sequence before the wedding, but Sanchez escapes thanks to a crooked DEA agent. So Sanchez, played by Robert Davi, along with his henchmen, including a very young Benicio del Toro, go after Felix and Della, his newly married bride, leaving Della dead and most likely raped, and Felix partially mauled by a shark. Wait, this sounds familiar. Right, yes, from the novel of Live and Let Die, or at least Leiter's mauling, the note left with his body, and the setup of the Marine Lab do. And there are also two elements chucked in from the Hilda Bernardi, which was a part of For Yours Only, namely Milton Crest and the Stingray tail whip thing. So when MI6 and US agencies won't do anything about it, Bond takes matters into his own hands, blows off M, and goes after Sanchez himself, but with a revoked license. He connects with Pam Bouvier, a contact of Felix's, and they head down to Isthmus City to take down Sanchez. So Bond gets into Sanchez's good graces after his assassination attempt is botched, and long story short, the film ends with a truck chase sequence, lots of explosions, a celebratory party, and Bond being reinstated. As you can guess, because Bond is a rogue asset in this film, it means that he is not representative of the British Isles or MI6, so that's a first. This is also the first Bond film to shoot entirely outside of Britain because of, I believe, financial reasons, and Bond also orders a Bud. So to everyone freaking out about Bond ordering a Heineken and doing all sorts of Heineken product placement in the upcoming film Skyfall, just relax. It happens with movies, okay? Let's start with the weaker of the two women. Lupe, Sanchez's lover. She's in an abusive relationship and sees Bond as her way out. Oh my god, why are we returning to this? Sanchez beats her with a stingray tail, she blames herself, but she sticks around. So when Bond comes along, gets into Sanchez's good graces, she sees him as a way out. So they sleep together, and then in the end, Bond suggests that she get together with the president of the Republic of Isthmus. She really needed a sassy best friend. Seriously? You've got to be kidding me. No, I'm not. But Pam Bouvier, played by Carey Lowell, is a stronger character and kicks a lot more ass to boot. She's a CIA asset with Army pilot training and so on, so you know she's one tough cookie. She could handle herself in that bar fight, planting money with Bond, and even duping a fake evangelist played by Wayne Newton, among other things. But what irks me about her character is that she and Bond sleep together after said bar fight when they decide, okay, we're going to go to Isthmus City. And then when they get to Isthmus City, Bond makes her cover his executive secretary, because it's a man's world south of the border. Bond, you know who controls south of the border? I'll give you one guess. Women. Oh, the sexism. But at least she isn't a damsel, she actually helps Bond to take down Sanchez, because that's kind of also her mission, too. This Bond film definitely amps things up. It's darker with more violence and cursing, and with that comes the first PG-13 rating for a Bond film. Oh no, there are people being shot at and blown up and lit on fire. It's a movie. Just deal with it. So yes, the film is darker, but it does reflect a darker side of Bond from the novels that, frankly, Connery, Moore, and Lazenby never quite managed to touch. Q returns once again, but this time he is the gadget man in the field. You just have to love Desmond Llewellyn as the crotchety Q to the younger, hipper sort of Bond. Anyways, the gadgets this time are more discreet, as they're disguised as travel amenities, like an exploding alarm clock, explosive gelatin toothpaste tube, a cigarette carton that works as a remote detonator, and among other things, camera parts that assemble a sniper rifle with an optic palm reader. But I do have a few gripes with the film, like why is David Harrison back playing Leiter nearly 20 years after he first held the role? There's also the fact that Leiter hasn't made as much of an impact in the films as he did in the novels, even though he was mauled in the second Bond novel and had a hook, claw, hand thing in the rest of the novels that he appeared in. And there are some of the stunts, like the truck chase scene and the botched opium trade. One of the first things Bond does during this truck chase scene is he drives the right side of a truck cabin and trailer up a ramp and holds that position while driving to dodge a Stinger missile. And then later on, he pops a wheelie in a truck cabin to drive through a huge wall of fire. What? And then during the botched opium trade, you know what he does? He latches a harpoon gun onto the back of an amphibious plane, does an impromptu water ski, and then gets onto the plane and takes control. I'm not buying any of those. But putting those grips aside, License to Kill is a good Bond film, but it falls a bit short of the bar set by The Living Daylights, even with a slight theme tune change and the title song by Gladys Knight. However, the callback to Tracy after the wedding is a nice, slightly redeeming continuity touch. So next week, yet another actor steps into the hot seat as Bond. Let's see how Mr. Remington Steele does then.